I think if there's one constant, it's change. And what we really need to do is to become increasingly sophisticated about how we manage change. And I think the theme this year of acceleration is going to take us into that territory, which is quite right, because what we need to do is become more sophisticated about how we manage constant evolution and transformation in our business. I suppose my feeling is that certainly within the large holding groups, and OMD being the largest media agency in the world, we have somewhat of the challenge of scale. I come from a startup background where driving scale and transformation is relatively easy with small numbers of people. You can pivot instantly. Doing that with a global client, with a global footprint, is more challenging. And that's where collaboration comes in. You need everybody to be pulling in the same direction if you're going to deliver change at speed. Businesses, like a human being, they have muscle memory. And therefore, when you're trying to change and pivot a business to try and drive it in a new direction, that muscle memory, that inertia prevents the change. So actually what you need to do is you need to create a new method of working, a new way of collaborating, a new method of communicating to people to make sure that you get their buy-in, you get their support, and that's when change happens. The challenge that you find, whatever the client, whatever the size of the piece of business, is the people that are close to the business are often those who are invested in why it looks like the way it looks today. Sometimes we have to take bold decisions which can be uncomfortable for people who are close to the problems, but often that's the right thing to do. And what we need to bring diversity into our thinking and diversity into our teams in order that we bring people with different experiences to come with different answers to the problems that we've been looking at previously. So I think mindset is key. You need people who will approach it from an open point of view. And as I said, that's often challenging for people who are very close to the problem. They're probably very close to the reasons why that piece of business is managed in that way anyway. In the same way that some people are brilliant at brainstorms, some people don't have the capacity for it. Some people's psyche means that they automatically put up obstacles and justifications about why the status quo is what it is. What we need is for people to come into the room with a blank sheet of paper and an open mind about what the answer might be. And that's when the diversity of thinking, the diversity of experience that we bring in our teams helps us get to new answers. The first thing is it has to be top down. So when I launched my transformation program for OMD in EMEA 2 years ago, I said to my leadership, I was only going to communicate now with them via an instant messaging platform. So it took the conversation off email, which has become, unfortunately, sullied with really bad practice. We need to imitate and mimic the practices of communication that people have in their personal lives. We have very sophisticated, what I would call trust networks in our personal lives. And they live on instant messaging, they live on video calls, and they live on WhatsApp. And what we need to do is to take those traits and how those methods work for people in their personal lives and bring those into the business environment. I think what we've moved away from is large-scale communication, mass communication, if you like, if we were talking to a client regarding a campaign, to far more personalized communication. So we're looking at much more conversation-like communications, shorter, more, I suppose, instinctive communications, in that they become more like a chat, whether they happen over a video or they happen over text on an instant messaging platform or WhatsApp. The point is that those types of conversation are what build trust. And trust is ultimately what you need in that relationship to drive change. The main tip I would have is that everybody has to get on board. And however many detractors you might have, whatever great reasons they might feel like they have for not falling in line with a new practice, those are the people that's going to hold it back. Those are the people you need to spend the time with to convince them of the value of a new way of working. And ultimately, they will all reap the benefits. My background is in software development. And in the world of software development, we have true agile methodologies. What you do is you take a really big problem and you break it down into bite-sized chunks. And that's how you get over a large development challenge. We took that principle and we built a 100-day plan to deploy our new methods of collaboration, new ways of internal communication, and we delivered that plan to our markets in EMEA, and they had 100 days to complete certain tasks. Those tasks could only be completed via this new communications platform. So it meant we got people off email, they engaged, and over the course of that 100 days, they saw the benefit of the platforms and the changes that they were making. So we gamified it, we created a competition between the markets, a bit of healthy competition, and it was unbelievable actually. One of our smallest markets, Latvia, was the first market to complete all of the tasks within the 100 days. So I surprised them with a visit and a party and a dinner out in Latvia, which was fantastic. And since then, we've evolved the program to become more sophisticated than the change we're trying to do, but we're using the same methodology. What they did, I think it relates much to my previous answers, which is they got people on board. You have to win people's hearts and minds over in order to drive that change, because it does take a leap of faith. We've all become ingrained in these established ways of working, but actually we're ingrained in very inefficient ways of working, and you need to win people over. The benefit of doing it via a challenge, if you like, a gamified experience, was we forced people into the platform and we demonstrated the benefits of the platform and that way of working over a short period of time.